We all went from that time of dying and preparing for our death to now, put the brakes on, you gotta live now. And, just what does that look like? Because we spent years thinking that we were gonna die. Here, I was diagnosed in 1987, but I knew that I had it in 1985 because that's when my son was born. So now here it is 10, 11 years later, and you're saying, here's these drugs, you gotta live, now figure out your life. A lot of people had sold their insurance policies and things like that. I mean, I didn't go ahead and do that. So what does life look like now?
My childhood, I was told that I was going to die. And then when I didn't, and I did graduate high school, it was kind of this unexpected adulthood. What do I do now? I guess I'll go to college. It wasn't the same as for a lot of people that it's expected for you to go to college. For me, it was, okay, now that I've survived into adulthood, I need to learn, one, how to manage this, two, how am I going to provide for myself. So it was really going to school, and everything was around my medical care and getting health insurance and just making sure that, I could take care of myself.
Everybody in my church, everybody in the singles group knew about my HIV, so I'm like, okay, I'm not here for a man, I'm just here for friends, But there was this guy that I became friends with in the singles group at church, and we were just friends, and he kept looking at me with these eyes that didn't look like friendship eyes. I was like, wait a minute, no, back off, we're friends, and I was just like, I have HIV, and he's like, yeah, I know, so what? And lo and behold, in June of 2000, we got married, and we've been married ever since.
I had 2 relationships, and then the second relationship actually ended before I came to Atlanta. And one of the things that really got to me was knowing that Georgia has this law from 1988 that makes it a felony for me to not disclose my HIV status and participate in the behaviors that without intervention would normally transmit HIV. So this law is from 1988. You might notice that the calendar year is 2018. Lots of progress has been made, lots of treatments out there, and now we know that if somebody is adherent to their antiretroviral medication and is living with HIV and they lower their viral load, the amount of virus in their blood, to an undetectable limit, that they cannot transmit HIV. So we have these laws criminalizing knowing your HIV positive status. These same laws do not require, like other crimes, usually you have to have intent. So intent to transmit, you should criminalize behaviors that are likely to transmit. So knowing that these laws exist as far as dating goes, a lot of the prosecutions under these kinds of laws, we have 32 states and territories that have these kinds of laws. A lot of the prosecutions have nothing to do with transmission. They have everything to do with one partner was mad at the other partner, they broke up. All you have to do is say, they didn't tell me, because it's hard to prove what one person said to another unless you're signing a hookup contract, sending a text message saying that kind of thing. So for me, until that law is lifted in Georgia, I'm not really, and that's my personal choice, is that I don't date.
I was at home, Daryl was working, and I was just like, okay, I can bake, I can cook, I can cross stitch, but what does life and living look like now? Everybody's left me, So I'm like, I'm a nurse. I can go back to nursing. And in my mind, I had said that if I ever wanted to go back to work, I wanted to go back to work at the Grady IDP, because I was a patient there, and that's where I was put on my first regimen. I received so much help there. I just saw the work that they did, and they saved my life. So I'm like, it's time for me to give back. And if I go to work anywhere, I want to go to work there. So a job became available, and the nurse practitioner that was taking care of me, she said, Marianne, by the way, did you know that there's a nursing position that's open? Are you interested at all in coming back to work? I jumped into the pool head first, and have been there 15 years now, working and giving back to the same people that are suffering with HIV, well, not suffering, that's a wrong word, just to give back to, patients that have been diagnosed with HIV and struggle on the journey, try to find their way.